Go. Alright, so we're going to get started. A bit late because of technical issues. So first up, thank you to our sponsors. So Sky Betting and Gaming have paid for the pizzas that JetBrains have given us a load of codes for the prize draw. And Bruntwood have given us the venue for free, which is fantastic. Please follow us on social media. So at the minute we use Meetup, so you should Meetup, RSVP for it, and Twitter with handle. We are YouTubing talks. We try and do it all the time. Technical issues aside. So you'll find them up on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/LeedsJS. We have some stickers on the table at the back, so have a read through those. We don't do Q&A, just come up and speak to the speakers after the talks. We do have a code of conduct. If you want to read the full version, you can go to that URL. I'm going to read out a shorter version, which seems to have been truncated on my screen for some reason. That's not made any better. Why Google? Okay, LeedsJS is dedicated to providing harassment-free meetup experiences for everyone, regardless of gender, sexual orientation, physical appearance, body size, race, religion, or age. We do not tolerate harassment of meetup participants in any form. Sexual language and imagery is not appropriate for any meetup venue or online discussion, including talks given at the events. LeedsJS members may be breaking these rules may be sanctioned or expelled from the group at the discretion of the group's organisers. Come on. There is a thing called Global Diversity CFP Day. If you are a member of an underrepresented group in tech, on the 2nd of March, which is Saturday coming up, we're running a workshop down at Sky Bet offices with a number of different speakers, basically helping to encourage people to get into speaking at conferences and meetups, going through what it takes to submit a talk, to come up with an idea. If you want to go, if you feel that you fall into an underrepresented group in tech, go to globaldiversitycfp.com. You can find the Leeds event there. There's a Sheffield event on there as well, if that's more local for you. And you can sign up and attend that. And this month we have 2 prize draws. So the first one being the JetBrains one. If you go to tinyurl.com/LeedsJSFeb2019, stick your name in and that'll get you 1 entry. And then a separate, we have 2 codes from JetBrains. The other code will be drawn from the tweets. So if you tweet with the hashtag LeedsJS, anyone who tweets with the hashtag LeedsJS, no matter how many times you want, you will get an entry for every tweet. The other one is Front End Northeast. So the Front End Northeast group, meetup group up in Newcastle run a conference. This is the 2nd one this year. It's on the 3rd of April, and they've kindly given us a ticket to give away. It has speakers like Jeremy Keith, Remy Sharp, Katie Fenn, and Rachel Andrew. So if that sounds interesting, go to LeedsJS, tinyurl.com/LeedsJS frontend NE 2019. Stick your name in again. Don't need anything else because I'll draw it at the end, and whoever wins will just come up and give me an email address. I will put this back up during the break. And we are trying a new thing this month. If you have a job to shout out, come up, please. You have 1 minute to pitch it to everyone. Anyone? I know Ian does.
I do actually. Yeah. So Travis Digital, we work on the outskirts of Leeds on Kirkstall Road, and we're basically recruiting PHP and JavaScript developers at the moment. We're taking any skill level beyond a year or 2. So even if you're quite new to JavaScript, we'd still be very much looking for people. Yeah, I think that's it.
So if you've got if you're looking, speak to Wade. Or is there a website that people can go and look at?
Oh yeah, sorry. I've got the email address on one of my slides, so I can leave it up at the end.
wait for it to start.
Try this digital.
Ian.
Thank you. I previously worked at Skybet and now work for the parent company Skybet called the Stars Group, and we are building an international betting platform from scratch with a lot of JavaScript in it, and we're looking for people to come and help us on that journey. So if you've got an interest in anything front-endy, whether that be GraphQL, React, or otherwise, come up and see me afterwards, or go and look on skybetcareers.com for more information. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Hi, I'm Rich. I work at DAZN. Many of you have probably heard of us. Hiring back-end JavaScript engineers, mostly kind of DevOpsy, mostly using serverless, Lambda, AWS, Kinesis, stuff like that. Right into the town centre. Come and say hi. You can look out for our jobs at engineering.dazn.com. Thank you.
And that's DAZN spelled D-A-Z-N.
Thank you very much.
Anyone else? No? Okay, cool. Thank you very much to everyone who participated in our trial there. Right, where is my mouse? So, first up is me. I'm going to be talking about coding a serious business, because it is a deadly serious thing. So, first up, if you want to follow along with the slides because you can't see or something, there are slides.lukeB.co.uk/LeedsJS Feb 2019. So I have a couple of content warnings. I have animations and sounds, so if those things might impact you, watch out for down in this corner. There will be content warnings in there. So I'm Luke Bonaccorsi. I organise this group. I tweet at Code Food Pixels, my 3 favourite things. I blog at lukeb.co.uk, and I'm a software engineer at Skybet Gaming. And as developers, we all know that code should only be used for serious pursuits. It's deadly serious. Wrong. Sound isn't working. Oh well. The web is a playground, and we're just a load of big kids playing with shiny toys in a sandpit. Since the early days of the web, creativity has been a massive part of it. It's been a fundamental part of the web. One of the earliest examples of this is a site called Geocities. I'm pretty sure most of you will have heard of Geocities. In 1994, it launched. It was the sort of first of its kind. You could get 15 megabytes for free, which at the time was massive. And there were templates, so you could build your own website, and it was a community. You got sectioned off into a part of Geocities, and anyone could join and make their little part of the web. And it meant that you got stuff like this, which I love. It's fantastic because it's this person's being put onto the web. It's what they love, and you created your own little corner of the web. You could show yourself, and you could let your creativity loose within the bounds of what you could do at that point. So you get pages like this, or ones just full of GIFs, which would take like an hour to download on your computer because you had dial-up at that time. But then in 2009, Yahoo shut down Geocities, and the web had moved on at that point, but by shutting it down, they took a huge chunk of the web with it. There's a lot of sites that people built as their first site and didn't update, but it was there, it was part of the web. We lost a part of history. But since then, and over time, the web's added more features that add creativity. So, my first example of that is SVG and CSS Animation. SVG was added to most browsers in 2011. You could use it across all major browsers at that point. It's an image format that's based on markup, and it's scalable by default because it's based on markup. And then in 2012, CSS Animation was available in most major browsers, which means that you can animate CSS from one form to another, make transitions kind of nice. It means you can do stuff like this, which is it's great. It's a little like random app for no real reason. It's called the Huggy Laser Panda Factory. It's brilliant. It's on CodePen if you want to go and have a look at that. It's made by someone called Sarah Drasner. She's fantastic. She makes a load of really cool stuff. But this uses SVG, CSS, and the GreenSock.js library that does a load of like animation stuff for you. But like you click on 3 different points, and so there's that one. I click on it, makes that panda appear. That one makes that one appear, and then that one makes that one appear. And it's just like a fun little thing that isn't part of your everyday web. And we can use these things in our applications and websites. So it's not just for art stuff like that. You can animate your menu, and it just makes it a little bit fun for the user. It makes it a bit nice. And it even animates the icon if you watch. It's just nice little touches. It's not a massive thing, but it feels good. And then my own site, I have an animated background which isn't a GIF, that is just a CSS transform because it's a lot lighter than using a GIF. And then the image of the spaceship bobbing up and down and the press start text, and it's all just simple little bits of animation, but it adds to the feel of the site. And in 2011, we got Canvas across major browsers. And it lets you do stuff like animation again, games, data, visualization, image manipulation. It's quite a sort of flexible thing. Major browsers have supported that since 2011. It lets you do stuff like this, that's all in browser. It's a CodePen again. You can go and look at it at that URL. I will be hopefully tweeting my slides out after this. The slides are 200 megabytes, so that's because of the GIFs. But yeah, this is 30,000 particles that you just disrupt by waving your mouse through it. It's by a guy called Justin Windle. And yeah, you just drag your mouse around, the canvas takes care of what it should do and how it should do it. And then there's this one, which I love. That's a video on the canvas that you click on and it explodes it. It just like shoots it. And it heals itself kind of like the T-1000 from Terminator 2, which is terrifying. But it's really cool that you, like, I just love the fact that the video still plays on the little squares. It's just amazing. But again, it shows you what you can do with a mix of interactive content and video streams. Again, if you want to get that demo, it's at that URL. And then you can create games. Again, from my website, I just made, like, my first use of Canvas was making a game. It took me like 2 evenings just messing around. It's hidden on my site, so if you go and you can try and find it. It's based on the game Helicopter, but with asteroids instead. And it's 300 lines of code to get everything, so it's not a massive amount. The main problem was actually just figuring out the logic for the game. But yeah, it was pretty quick to get going, so it's not a terrifying technology, it's well documented as well. So that's all fun and games, but where's the serious stuff? We want to apply this to real worlds. Like, you don't all just get to sit and build games all day. So, as I mentioned, I work at Skybet and Gaming. On the Skybet site, we have football pages, because football's a big thing for people to bet on. And this is a pitch visualization. So this is real-time data being fed into it, and it updates as stuff goes on, shows you what's going on in the game. It basically is a quick look for people when they're on the site. This is all rendered on Canvas, and it is pretty smooth. It's part of the, like, it's one of the core features. People would hate it if it went missing. Next one is WebGL. So WebGL lets us do interactive 2D and 3D graphics in the browser, and it uses hardware acceleration if it can. So it'll use your graphics card, and yeah, it's been supported on all major browsers since 2014. So the first example is this, which I really like. It looks really cool. It's called WebGL Water. It's a pretty straightforward name. It's created by a guy called Evan Wallace, and yeah, you move the ball around and it just makes the water ripple. And you can enable and disable gravity, so right at the start, like the gravity's enabled, I disable it and the ball floats up and makes it ripple and the water reacts, and then I grab hold of the ball and move it and like force it into the water and it responds to that. And it's really nice. It's a great animation. It's a great bit of sort of demo, and you can actually, when you've got it in the browser, you can rotate it around, you can see it in full 3D. And then there's this one which I also love. It's called Oat the Goat. It's a really beautiful interactive storybook for kids. It's from New Zealand, and it aims to teach children about empathy, acceptance and tolerance, and it's really beautiful. It's also got some really good sound effects to go with it. It's when somebody sent me this when I was asking about sort of people's favourite examples, this is one that I knew I had to put in because it just looks fantastic. But yeah, that's rendered all in the browser. And yeah, you can use it for boring stuff as well. Like this is a chart, and you can click on a node and zoom in, and it's like it kind of makes graphing and stuff a bit nicer. You can hover over it to get labels and zoom in on nodes and scroll out to zoom out and stuff like that. But this is a case where you could actually use it in your site for something useful. So this is all kind of cool and interesting, but what about some like real different parts of the web? Like that's all just showing stuff in the browser that you're expecting. So there's a thing called WebXR. You might have previously heard it as WebVR. It's virtual reality and augmented reality in the browser. It's heavily in progress. It's not really supported fully in any major browser, but it's being worked on heavily by Google and Mozilla. But it's pretty much only supported on Android because iOS doesn't like anyone else doing stuff. So that means you can do stuff like this, which this is a 360-degree photo that I literally sat on my desk chair, held my phone and like span around. But it's really cool. Like if you have a Google Cardboard, you can put it in that and just like look around, and it's actually in the browser showing you a 3D photo. You can do this with video as well, so you can actually have a 360-degree video that's playing as you're sat, just like spinning around in a chair. And then you can even create your own worlds. So this is one created by Ada Rose Cannon, who works for Samsung Internet. And yeah, it's just a little 3D world that she's created, and with a spaceship. And again, I sat in my chair and swiveled around and moved my phone around. And it's really cool. And then there's Web Bluetooth. So it means you can control Bluetooth low energy devices from your browser, which means you don't need to install an app, you can just open a web page. It's only supported in Chromium based browsers at the minute, which is Chrome, Samsung Internet and Opera and a few others. But the spec is heavily in progress again. It's made a lot of progress. So there's this one where he is controlling a drone through his phone, through the web, which I'm not sure if an internet connected drone is a good idea. I'll leave that to you to decide. But yeah, that's all done through Bluetooth. And then, yeah, so if you want to see that, there's a longer video of that Twitter URL. It's made by a guy called Peter O'Shaughnessy, who used to work for Samsung Internet now. I think he's just a developer somewhere. And then I created an LED display last year. I did do a talk at a previous LeedsJS, and I'm sure some of you played with it, where you draw on a canvas and then it lights up the lights on the LED display over Bluetooth, and you can set it to different colours and stuff like that. But yeah, that's a mixture of sort of different types of your creative elements of the web. But this is only a part of what the creative power that the web has. There's all sorts of stuff that I literally could not cover. So there's APIs for audio, there's APIs for sensors, so you can detect like movement on the device. There's web USB, so you can connect to things over USB through the web. There's web MIDI, so you can control sort of lights and stuff, actual like proper stage lighting. And people keep proposing more and more. It's sort of growing and growing. And the spirit of Geocities is sort of coming back with a site called glitch.com. So Geocities had this friendly community spirit and it fostered that creativity. Glitch.com is bringing it back. It's hosting your content, you've got an online editor there, it's collaborative, you can invite your friends to help you do stuff. You can invite strangers to help you do stuff. It can run a node application, so you can actually run a proper server backend, and you've got templates for all sorts of things, so you can even like make Alexa skills with it. There's a template for that, it's great. So the web is a playground, and it's the largest and most widely available platform in the world, because if you have an internet connection, you've got a connection to the web. And as web developers, we have the tools to create these, to build these creative, fun experiences. Or you can just add a little bit to your applications to make it a bit nicer and friendlier. And that's it. So I can see that have you finished laying out the pieces? So the pieces are at the back. I don't know what order. Oh, they've got little flags next to them now. So yeah, if you want to go and grab some pizza, or if you've got any questions for me, feel free to come up and chat. But we'll be back at call it 25 to.